Hey, what's up? What's up? Joe in Vegas back with another review. The Eagles at the Sphere. We are now, I think, in our fourth residency now at the Sphere. We had U2 for a while. We had Fish for a couple nights. We had Dead and Company. Of course, there's the movies that are ongoing. And now the Eagles are the next big one. The Eagles are arguably one of the best-selling and biggest bands of all time. When I first heard they were playing the Sphere, I was a little bit concerned. I haven't seen them in a while. I probably saw them 8 or 9 years ago was the last time I saw them. And I remember two things about that show. They were very strict with cameras, and they had like extra security to make sure no one was taking pictures or videos, which I always fucking hate. It drives me crazy. So I was a little concerned. There's no way they're not going to let people take videos of this. There's no way. So I was interested to see what happens with that. But my take on the Eagles, and I love them, and they are one of the best bands of all time. I completely agree with that. They are a hit machine. They've written so many amazing songs. But it's a little bit of like a sleepy rock. It's like a slow rock and roll, which is great. It has its place, and they are the best at that. But they're not a rockin' band. They're not a band that's going to come out and have a couple songs that just everybody's on their feet. It's a kind of show you go, you sit down, and you just blend into these perfect harmonies and these beautiful lyrics. And that's what the Eagles are. And I'll probably get some shit for that, but that's my take, at least, on the Eagles. So I was like, how are they going to do that? How are they going to, they take this amazing technology and this amazing sphere and then slow it down a little bit for their stuff. Like, what is it going to be like? So I was very interested to see, and they did not disappoint at all. Okay, let's get into the set list. Let me get into tickets first, too, because I thought it was interesting. They sold out this first weekend right away. They sold out a lot of it right away. They ended up adding shows. I think they're doing 20 shows total for now. It was pretty expensive out of the gate, but I saw in the last few days the prices came way down. I got lucky. I got them during the right when they went on sale. I was in section 304, and I think I paid $290 a ticket, which compared to other shows, it's a bargain. I mean, honestly, this Sphere stuff is so fucking amazing. It doesn't really matter where you sit, and it doesn't really matter what you pay. You are in for a once-in-a-lifetime type of show. If you're an Eagles fan, if you're a diehard Eagles fan, your brain is going to explode. You would just be the happiest person. I really believe there's no bad seats in that place. There's the trade-off, which I've talked about in other reviews. Unless you're buying that 200 level, which is the most expensive, those tickets are like $1,000. The 200 level is the only place you can really be close enough to the stage to appreciate the band, and you're still not so close for what you're paying, and then get the full scope of the Sphere. If you're down on the 100 level, and you got to be very careful. I put this in all my Sphere reviews, and if you're a first-time listener, pay attention because my friend's sister happened to her last night. If you're buying on the 100 levels, just make sure, look at the ticket, see if it says obstructed view, because I think it's the last 20 rows. If you're like in row 15 or 20 and back, you have an overhang over you and you cannot see the screen. It's crazy. Do not ever buy those tickets. It's not worth the money. You're not going to get the full Sphere experience. But if you're before that, listen, you're close up to the stage. It's amazing. But when you look up, you have to literally look straight up, and you probably have to turn around and look back, which I don't want to do that for 2.5 hours. The second level is primo. If you can afford it, that's the best level. Third level, where I sit, I like that level. You're far from the stage. There's no doubt about it. But it's a weird part of the Sphere. It's kind of like the only show where I don't care to see the band. I don't care. I'm there to see the screen. I love the band, and even Don Henley said it. We're the house band. I think Joe Walsh said it too at one point. Like, don't look at me. Look at the screen. This is not about us. This is a different kind of show. This is about the screen and the graphics and the experience. It's not about us, and I kind of agree with that. I like the 300 section. I've sat in the 400 section before, and I'm telling you, if you can't afford these tickets and you can afford in the 400, which gets kind of cheap, go for it. Do not miss this show because you think you're too far, because the 400 level, you have the full scope of the screen. So that's the trade-off. You're far from the band, but they put the band up on the screen plenty, but you get the full scope of it. So getting back to my point, I actually think this was perfect for the sleepiness, or the slow. I don't want to call it sleepy because it sounds bad, but the slowness and the slow rock of the Eagles. This adds a level of excitement to the music. It paints pictures in your head for this music that you've never had before. Like I turned to the girl I was with after Hotel California, and we've been listening to this song for my whole life, and it's such a visual song, and you have all these visuals. That changed last night. The next time I listen to Hotel California, I am just going to be thinking about those visuals for the rest of my life. They kind of replaced the visuals in my head. When I hear Witchy Woman or Take It to the Limit or Life in the Fast Lane, I'm going to be thinking about these graphics now. They've repainted the picture of what these songs are in my head. And it was interesting, but it actually was perfect for a band like Eagles. It just, to me, made their music more exciting and more interesting. And not that it wasn't interesting, just gave it a little bit of life that I remember from the last time I saw them. I felt that the show was it was great, but just slow. Everybody sat the whole show. Everybody sat here the whole show, too. I don't think I saw anybody stand up, even at the Heartache tonight, at the end of it all. Very few people stood up. I know it's an older crowd, but still, their songs are meant to sit and just enjoy. Anyway, okay, 6 minutes in, I haven't even fucking talked about anything. Let's get into the set list. So, they came out with their guns blazing. When you walked in, there was this beautiful image on the screen it was a collage of all. I grew up in LA, so for me it was awesome. All the whiskeys and God, I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. El Coyote restaurant and the Hollywood Bowl and the Hollywood sign, and there was sunset. You just felt like you were in Hollywood and sunset. And as they got closer to coming on stage, the lights would dim and the lights would go on. It's just a great way to walk into a show. It's really beautiful. Okay, so let's get into the set list. Also, I wanted to do a disclaimer. It is impossible for me to edit all these graphics and match it with me talking about the songs. So I am just going to upload all the videos I have and you watch them. So you might see a video for, Tequila Sunrise, but I'm talking about, Life in the Fast Lane, but it's impossible for me to match it up. So I'm just talking and I'm going to upload it, enjoy the graphics. You get a piece of what happened there. Hotel California, out of the gate, couldn't believe they played that as the first song. And absolutely, I think to me that was the best, that was the highlight of the night. I think you just had chills. The graphics were incredible. I kept thinking driving in, I wonder what graphics they're going to do for Hotel California. And they just go with the first line, a dark desert highway. That was enough to start the graphics of a car coming down a dark desert highway. You just see the headlights, and then just goes into just this unbelievable graphics. I just love that. Was to me the highlight of the night out of the gate. I could have gone home after Hotel California and been fine, but it's the Eagles, and they have hit after hit after hit, and they do not stop. Next was One of These Nights, amazing. Lion Eyes, unbelievable. And again, looking at the graphics, they did a lot of stars and moons, Joshua trees. They did Lion Eyes. They said Take It to the Limit. Witchy Woman, I remember, was cool. It was like this dark forest. Everything was the visuals are so cool. Peaceful Easy Feeling, awesome. Tequila Sunrise, that was the one that really matched, I think. That was the visuals I always had in my head. It was just this mountain ridge, and as the song grew, the sun kept coming up, and it went from dark to light. It was a sunrise. You were experiencing a sunrise of a beautiful mountain ridge and forest while you're listening to the Eagles play it live. It's everything the Sphere is supposed to be. Then, Eagles have all their hits, but they also have Joe Walsh and Don Henley singles. The next one was In the City. Walsh wrote a lot of great stuff. In the City was awesome. Remember, the graphics were great. They scaled up, and you were looking up, and it came back down. Just buildings becoming nature. It's so hard to explain these graphics. I do them absolutely no justice, but they're incredible. I Can't Tell You Why, awesome. New Kid in Town, awesome. Seven Bridges Road, awesome. Those Shoes. And then Life's Been Good. I actually thought the graphics, there were one or two songs that I think the graphics could have been a lot better. Life's Been Good to me, Life's Been Good by Joe Walsh. It's such a visual song with the Maseratis, and I thought they would do a lot more with that song. It just had a lot of pictures spinning around. It was cool. It was like a little flashback to olden days and olden pictures. But I think they could have done more with that graphic, to be honest with you. Already Gone. And then Boys of Summer, another single. So they have all the Eagles hits, and then they sprinkled in the singles, the solo hits that are so good. It makes for an incredible set list. Boys of Summer, awesome graphics. It started really weird. It was like a guy on the beach, black and white, And you're like, these are crappy graphics for such a big song. And then next thing you know, they're underwater. You're underwater. There's dancing. It's just, this sphere is just incredible. It is so clear and beautiful. Life in the Fast Lane. I like these graphics. I also thought this would be a better, no, I don't want to say it's better. I like this graphic. It was just, I don't know if it was a Corvette going down the strip at night. It was actually, I was looking closely at what, they must have filmed it in the last couple of weeks, because you could see when they drove past in the Mirage that the walls were already up, the volcano was already gone, which they just started doing. So they must have filmed that in the last couple of weeks, which I thought was interesting. Then they did an encore. Started with Take It Easy, man, to get better than that. Walsh came out. Walsh started Rocky Mountain Way. Loved that fucking song. And then this one, I would think this was my biggest disappointment of the night, Desperado. So, again, the visuals that they could have gone with, a cowboy, a horse, a desert, a cowboy town, it should have been much cooler. Instead, they went a little classier, I guess. They just had this curtain behind them, like a big Broadway curtain. And then at some point in the song, you saw shadows of people playing violins and stuff behind it. Cool. Very cool. But Desperado has there's something to it. And I think they missed an opportunity on that one to really do something, visually incredible. And then they closed with Heartache Tonight, which was really cool graphic. That reminded me of some of the Dead graphics and the U2 graphics, where it was just this mishmash of Vegas and jukeboxes and everything. But it was great. It was all great. It was such a great combo. The Eagles and the Sphere and the technology and the music. I loved it. I'm going to go back for sure. Not even a question. I knew a lot of people that went. Everybody was blown away. You're always blown away by the Sphere. And I said it before, the Sphere has changed music concert experience going forward. I could see them putting them in different cities. They might not. If not, it'll be just something to gravitate towards. I heard rumors that Coldplay is next. I heard rumors that Lady Gaga's next. Beyonce's, and who knows what's coming. But I have no doubt that as people come, they'll get better and better with the graphics, because I think they're learning. U2 didn't have the luxury of learning what worked and what really worked. So I'm starting to see patterns now of the way the graphics come at the crowd. I think people, the people who do the graphics can see what's working and build on that. The only other thing I thought, I'm going to leave it on that, it's already getting long. I thought there'd be more tributes to Glenn Frey. His son is in the band, Deacon. But they really, I said it with Grateful Dead. They didn't really do much for Jerry at all. Dead and Company, sorry. I thought there'd be more. But, there's obviously a reason. They don't want to look back. They want to look forward. But I do think the crowd, it would have been nice to pay a little tribute to him. All in all, it's a great show. Run to see it. Run to see anything at the Sphere, any movies. I heard there's a Wizard of Oz movie coming. I think it's an $80 million Wizard of Oz movie, so that should be incredible. Man, how lucky am I to live in this town? How lucky are we to get these experiences? Friends that flew in from LA for this, they're diehard Eagle fans. They were just blown away. Scale of 1 to 10, I am going to give it a 9.75. I think it could have been higher if they would have done something a little more special with Desperado, and Life's Been Good. That's my take, but it's almost perfect. Wasn't bored for 1 second, not 1 second. You run to the bathroom and you run back during the show because you don't want to miss a single beat of anything. You don't know what's coming next on these screens, and you just sit there with your jaw open, and you see everybody walking out smiling, and that's what this shit is all about, making people happy, and they do that. Thanks for listening. If you were there, leave some comments. Let me know what you think, what you thought. Subscribe, and I will see your ass at the next show. Bye-bye.